Hello, how are you, everybody? I hope you're all well. And it is time for another literature video lesson. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so today we're going to look at magical realism. Do you know much about that? Do you think you're going to like it as a style, as a literary genre? Let's have a look. First of all, I have some questions. We're going to look at a specific book called The Alchemist, and this is the type of literature genre is magical realism. So I was wondering first if you know, what is an alchemist? What is alchemy? How could it be related to magic, and how could it be related to realism? So we're discussing the meanings of the title of the book and the genre. I want you to answer those questions in pairs. 5 minutes, pause the video, go. Okay, so you need to use your imagination a little bit. There is also an art movement called magic realism or magical realism, and it is related, of course, to the literary genre as well. So what's an alchemist? What is alchemy? It's all very magical, but it could also be related to the real world. Let's read a little bit more about it to make it clear. So here is the definition of alchemy. Alchemy is the medieval forerunner of chemistry. So chemistry is the modern science. Alchemy is what they used to do to try and convert things. So the medieval forerunner of chemistry, based on the supposed transformation of matter. It was concerned particularly with attempts to convert base metals into gold, or to find a universal elixir. So they're trying to find the secrets to eternal life. They're trying to magic up some gold. And did they do it? Don't know, but they tried. And this was the science of alchemy. Not very scientific at all. Lots of stories based on alchemists who tried and failed, or alchemists who sold their soul to the devil to try to create gold. A very magical, mixed with some sort of vague pre-science ideas. Interesting though. And then magical realism. These are some paintings from magical realism. The middle one, I don't know if you know her, Frida Kahlo, a brilliant Mexican artist. And she's painted herself there with her little friends in the jungle. This is could be realistic, but also magical. The other paintings, like these ships on the sea, and then they start flying. So it's based in realism, but then becomes magical. And then the elephant balancing on a little ball, elephant doing gymnastics. An elephant is real, a ball is real. An elephant balancing on a ball is not so real. So the definition, magical realism paints a realistic view of the world while also adding magical elements, often dealing with the blurring of the lines between fantasy and reality. Okay, so a very interesting type of style. Here are the characteristics of magical realism. There are 5 different characteristics: realistic setting, magical elements, limited information, critique, and unique plot structure. I would like you now to read through this slide and tell your partner which of these types of characteristics you think is most interesting in magical realism. So 5 minutes, pause, read and discuss. Which is most interesting? Okay. I think the magical elements are very interesting. I'm very interested in magic. I also think the critique is very interesting. An implicit critique of society, especially of politics and the elite. It's a very good way to criticize the government, for example, because it's based in a sense of magic. Okay, that's a bit of background. Here are 7 magical realism novels. They all blur the line between fantasy and reality and include magical elements that don't exist in the real world. I want you to pause again for 5 minutes and look at these novels, decide which one would you choose to read and why, and tell the person next to you. Okay, so pause, read, and share. Okay, which one would you read? I've read the first 3, and 1, 2, 3, 5 I've read. I haven't read the others, but I would love to read number 7 because I love the title, The Ocean at the End of the Lane. Sounds lovely. Okay, let's move on and to have a look at another novel. We're going to look at this novel now, The Alchemist. And this is by Paulo Coelho, the Brazilian. He's written a lot. I'm sure you've heard of him. Maybe you've read this book. Maybe you've read some of his other books. It's all over the world, in English, in Portuguese, translated into many, many languages. So it's a novel written in 2 parts and an epilogue. It's about an Andalusian shepherd. Andalusia is in Spain, so he's from the south of Spain, named Santiago, and his quest for his own personal legend, which takes him from his village to the pyramids of Egypt. So it's about this boy shepherd going from Spain across Africa, across North Africa to Egypt. In his travels, he meets a series of characters who either directly help him or teach him a valuable lesson by example. So this is like a life story, somebody learning about life as they go on their journey. These are some of the people who help him. Melchizedek is one of the people he comes across, and the alchemist is another one of the people who teaches him. They become mentors. There's also the Englishman. The Englishman provides an example of what happens if you hope to acquire knowledge mainly from books, because he's a very booky person. The crystal merchant is another one, shows him the type of life one leads if one doesn't heed a personal legend. So the alchemist is set in a universe where every being has its own personal legend and where the world has a soul which is shared by everything from living beings to rough matter. It's a very sort of spiritual book, all about finding the meaning of life. And lots of these books about physical journeys and travel are actually about internal journeys, trying to find this meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? Let's find out. So we're going to look at some quotations. Here are 3 and then another 3. I want you to read the quotations and then discuss with your partner, what does this quotation mean? Okay, so 5 minutes for this first slide. Read these 3 quotations and discuss what they mean with your partner. Okay, pause now. Okay, so what does number 1 mean? Do you agree with it? Did the desire in what you are originate in the soul of the universe? Do you believe that it's your mission? Number 2, what about the idea of love being something older than humanity and more ancient than the desert? And number 3, are dreams the language of God? Are they? Is that what dreams are all about? I don't know. Let's look at the next 3. So 3 more quotations. Please pause, read, and discuss the meaning now. Okay. Okay. So number 4 is about the alchemists, these very old-fashioned pre-chemists. Yeah, the purification of metals made them pure. Is that true? Maybe. Number 5, the Englishman he read too many books, like many English people maybe. And maybe when he looked up from his books and stared out into the desert, his eyes became brighter. And that was what reading was about, what life was about. Maybe he was missing life by reading all the time. Number 6. Okay, so this is the immense possibilities in life. Okay, do you feel like that? Okay, they are quotations from the book. We're going to look at an extract now, and I want you to analyze it. It's going to take you about 20 minutes. I want you to think, do you like it? Why or why not? What's the style and the type of language? Give some examples. And what is the message? And what is the magical realism? Shall I read it out? I think it makes it come alive more if I do. Okay, so let's read it through. You can whisper it to yourself at the same time as I'm reading it out, if you like, and think about those questions, A, B, C, D, and afterwards you need to pause to write your analysis. Okay? Even though I complain sometimes, his heart said, it's because I am the heart of a person, and people's hearts are that way. People are afraid to pursue their most important dreams because they feel they don't deserve them, or that they won't be able to achieve them. We, their hearts, become fearful just thinking of loved ones who go away, or of moments that could have been good but weren't, or treasures that might have been found but were forever hidden in the sands. Because when these things happen, we suffer terribly. My heart is afraid that it will have to suffer, said the boy. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is an encounter with God. When I have been truly searching for my treasure, every hour has been luminous, because every hour has been a part of the dream. When I have been truly searching for my treasure, I discover things along the way that I never would have seen had I not had the courage to try things that seemed impossible to achieve. Everyone on earth has a treasure that awaits them. Unfortunately, very few follow the path laid out for them. They just go along and see the world as a threatening place. And because they do, the world does indeed turn out to be a threatening place. We, their hearts, speak more and more softly, for we don't want people to suffer because they don't follow their hearts. Why don't people's hearts tell them to continue to follow their dreams? Asked the boy. Because that's what makes hearts suffer most, and hearts don't like to suffer. What you still need to know is this. Before a dream is realized, the soul of the world tests everything that was learned along the way. It does this so that we can, in addition to realizing our dreams, master the lessons we've learned as we've moved toward that dream. That's the point at which most people give up. That's the point, as we say in the desert, that one dies of thirst, just as the palm trees have appeared on the horizon. Every search begins with beginner's luck and ends with being severely tested. The darkest hour of the night comes just before the dawn. Okay, so pause this for 5 or 10 minutes, make some notes, start your writing, and then I will move it to the next screen, which you can also pause to read again and analyze the language. Pause now. Okay, and then the next part again. Pause now and finish your writing, analyzing the language. Okay, did you like it? Do you agree with it? It's very religious in a way, because it's aligning this idea of searching for dreams with a religious encounter. Did you get all the third conditionals? These ones here, treasures that might have been found, ones who go away, moments that could have been good, this sort of thing, try things that seemed impossible. Lots of hypothetical language and motivational language. Okay. So, how do you think the book ends? The book is all about the shepherd boy traveling from Spain to the pyramids in Egypt, meeting people, learning from them on the way. I want you now to write how you think the book ends. This is magical realism, so it can be any ending you imagine. I want you to, as you always have to do with writing, think, plan, write, check, and then post your ending in the Literature Linda WhatsApp group. Then I would like you to read the book and check what the real ending is. I will post the PDF of the book in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Have a lovely week. I look forward to reading your possible endings, but make sure you check the grammar really, really carefully. We don't want any mistakes, and you can correct them all. Have a good week. Bye.